Inconsistent.
Jesus Christ.
What are you texting over there, bro?
I accidentally clicked the download this thing, and it's like, it wants me to download it so bad.
Nah. That's how they get you, bro.
Yeah.
The algorithm is algorithm.
No, you know what it is? Freaking Google. It wants me to download it so bad.
I would say a Benjamin.
What's a common pilgrim name?
He's actually typing it in, guys.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, wow. What we would imagine the common American name is, obviously. So like John, William, Mary, Elizabeth, Sarah, stuff like that.
I'm going to go with John or William. What do you think?
Native
I look like a William? I
name.
could be a William. I could be your William.
1700s.
I could be all up in your William. You know what I mean?
Wow. Okay, so then I guess I'm...
Yummy. What?
I guess... Chiton? Isn't it?
That's your name?
Oh, wow. It means falcon. All right.
Oh, you look like a falcon with the feathers.
All right, you could just call me Falcon.
All right, and
Just keep it American.
I'll be John. Keep it hardcore American.
Hardcore American. Falcon and John. Here we
All
go.
right, so ladies and gentlemen, introducing your boy, your one and only, the one of the originals. The reason why we have turkey and we're doing this on Thursday, you heard? It's your boy John.
Welcome, John. Welcome to the land that we don't call America. Okay, so don't call it that. Okay, we don't actually have a name for this place. This is just Earth.
This is home.
This is home. We don't call it.
You guys came over
Because there is no other place. We just know this place.
and introducing. Damn, I don't even know how to pronounce the name. What's your name
Just
again?
Falcon. Just say
Right,
Falcon.
Falcon.
It's easier.
And introducing Falcon to the show.
How? I'm from the Suez tribe. All right. I welcome you to my land peacefully.
I don't come in peace.
We'll see how far that lasts.
We'll see how far that lasts. It's assumed that the Pilgrims were the aggressors because you came into their land.
Yeah. Well, the reason why is because the native had no idea of what this is my land. They kind of just thought this is everybody's land. We just travel. We do this. We do that.
Right, come. You
this is my base or whatever, my freaking operations. But they never really stood in one spot for too long. They kind of moved around a lot.
But they had slaves within themselves, and they had their own tribes, and they had their own territory. So
when they took over other tribes,
right? So
they took some slaves.
They knew what it was.
Yeah, but they never said like, this belongs to you forever. Like you have a contract that this is. They were just like, yo, this is ours.
Run that. You heard? It wasn't like that.
And it wasn't until the Pilgrims came where they're like, no, we have a contract from the King of England. They're like,
who the fuck is the King of England?
What is England?
What's a king?
Yeah, what is that? Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, he's a freaking chieftain. They're like, oh, the chieftain. I get it.
Oh, now you're speaking my language. Okay. I can't even look at us over there on the screen. We look ridiculous. I'm looking at you like, are you cold? All right.
I am cold.
Let me see those nipples. Yeah, he's cold.
I'm freezing right now.
My nipples are always hard. All right, so what we got? Fun facts about Thanksgiving. The perception is what? You know, because recently with this whole woke virus that's been going around, it's like everything that was in our traditional history growing up, you know, has been tainted by slavery and it's wrong to celebrate it. Those are great, actually.
I might actually wear them the rest of the day. I'm gonna go home. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
I can't wait. Your daughter's face is like, "What's happening?"
What is in your ears?
So you know this whole woke virus that we can't celebrate things because our history is tainted with bad stuff. It's like, get over it. We're constantly doing bad.
Well, the thing with the history being tainted with bad stuff is like back then they thought it was normal.
But bad stuff is happening right now. We act like we were enlightened that negative things don't happen. So. What's your traditional mindset of growing up and thinking about this holiday? What was that for you?
This is what I learned from school is that the Pilgrims came. They came on Plymouth Rock, right? They landed here, and they were like, "Hey, people that were here already, Native Americans, shake your hand, welcome." They're like, "Welcome in. We're gonna live over here. You guys live over here." And then during the winter, they had a very difficult time surviving in America, and the natives helped them. right? And when they helped them, they had this meal together called Thanksgiving. They're like, thank you for helping us here.
Who helped them?
The Native Americans helped the Pilgrims survive.
Because
Because the natives are like, yeah, we're used to this. The Pilgrims are like, what the hell's going on? You know what I'm saying? They're freezing, they're dying, they don't got enough food. And the natives came along, they go, here, have a corn. And they're like, wow, I love corn. Thank you.
I love corn.
I never had it before. This is so good. So, and then they survived the winter. And then that was it. They had peace and they loved each other. Amen. I love it. That was and that's, you know, they have like a picture, the little baby Indians and Pilgrims, and they're happy eating around a table.
So when we came from a boat from across the world, we were famished. We, you know, new lands. We didn't know what to eat.
Yeah.
What's what?
We didn't even know what's here. We're like, what the hell is that? A turkey? What is that bird? That's huge.
Huge.
Yeah.
What do we do with that? We got to eat. We're starving,
Yeah.
right? And that's the real history, right?
And that's what. Well, the thing is too, it's not like the natives didn't know what pilgrims were, because what time did Columbus land? What time did he sail the ocean blue? Do you remember?
In 1570, 15, 14?
No, 1492.
I can't believe
Columbus
you.
sailed the ocean blue. So you're talking about from the 1490 whatever he landed, right? Let's just say 1500 to make it even.
Make it round it off.
So when the Pilgrims came in the 1700s,
right?
you're not. They took, you know, when Columbus came, they took over. They became slaves. They were killing people. That information spread, so they knew who these people were when they got there. They're like, oh, we know who you guys are.
Yeah, you're part of those
You're
Spaniards.
from the other side.
Yeah, that's the other side.
You're from the other side of the ocean. We know who you guys are.
You came from the water.
And before that point, diseases had already spread.
Right. So
Before the Pilgrims showed up, mad niggas already died.
Yeah,
They've been died.
They already
They had been had AIDS.
they evolved, right?
Yeah, they had it all. Gonorrhea, they had it all. They've been had it. So they already knew these people were dirty. These people were killers.
They knew what to expect.
They knew what to expect. Yes, they were very cautious of who these.
So maybe the Pilgrims didn't want to mess with them at the beginning, but they were starving, and it was like,
Yeah. So I think what happened was the Pilgrims kind of made peace within the area, and they were like, all right, we could kind of trust these ones. They're a little bit different. They don't speak Spanish. They speak a different language. You know what I'm saying? Because the Spaniards also took over Florida. Florida.
They banged that out.
They took over a lot of that. Colorado means red or colored. They took over Colorado. They took over. There's a lot of spaces down there that they took over all that.
Oh, I like it.
All the South. You know, everything by the water, basically.
Right.
Actually, Texas, the reason why it has an X is because the natives there had a name for the area. I don't know if it was the area or the specific spot.
What was the name?
Texas, nigga.
Fuck.
But the X is, you know, if we see anything that has a word that's like
Mark the
X,
spot.
that we no, yeah. But the natives down there use that a lot. That X for words. Whatever.
Ours.
Yeah.
That's where the treasure is.
Well, yeah. But yeah. So when the Pilgrims came, they were like, "Who the hell are you guys? Why are you guys here? And why are you guys so high up north?" Because the Spanish niggas were down there, down south.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when the Pilgrims came, they're like, "Oh no, we're from a different spot."
Yeah, we're different.
Yeah. And oh, you know, the also too, like Vikings came to America before that. They didn't settle, but they just showed up. Actually, there's stories there's stories of Vikings said that they came to the land and they met these other people that were shooting at them with arrows. So the Vikings were like, "We're not gonna go there." They just left.
Let's avoid that.
Let's avoid that.
That would have been me.
So they kind of just stood in Iceland, Greenland, Nova Scotia, up in the north. They never really came down south.
Yeah.
Because they started getting shot at with arrows, and they're like,
What was the whole point of the big long hat? Do you think it was just aesthetics?
It's aesthetic. You see somebody in the crowd, and like, oh, there he goes. They're talking.
But all of them? It's like, fuck, where's Waldo? You gotta pick which one. All right, so the first Thanksgiving is commonly known as the first Thanksgiving, was a 3-day harvest celebration held in Plymouth Colony. I can never say that word. Colony?
Plymouth Rock. That's hilarious.
Plymouth Rock. It was somewhere between September and mid-November of 1621. It was organized to celebrate the first Pilgrim's successful corn harvest, which ensured that they would have enough food to survive on the upcoming winter. Here are key historical details. The attendees: 53 surviving pilgrims.
Surviving. That means a lot of people died.
That means a lot because they roll deep, right?
They
You would roll
ships hundreds of people on a boat.
deep. Damn, 53 left.
Yeah.
If they didn't have PTSD after
And
that,
it's crazy when you read stories about how they came on the boats. They barely, every time they talk about them making it, they're like, they barely made it. They're like, we were starving, that we had no water, we almost died every single time because they packed those boats with people and not enough water or not enough food.
yeah, just to make it.
So if they get whatever, they spend a few more weeks on sea because whatever the waves. Now
But
they're
like,
dying.
my thing is this: how bad was it back at home that you were gonna trek this uncertain, most definitely?
Yeah, I think it's just not just that it was bad, but there was also promise of like there's free land over there. You know what I'm saying? You got this little cottage surrounded by people, and you're like, I don't have that much land to be able to farm. Like over there, they have unlimited land. You just gotta go take it.
I mean, think about it, bro. Like I'm leaving
Yeah,
to face almost certain death.
yeah, but that's why the people that did come over here and their descendants were like cowboys, because they were like crazy. They're like, I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
if anybody was gonna fight the biggest empire in the world,
That's where the
It
original
was
Trump gene came
Yeah.
from. Gotcha.
they became the cowboys. So while the Americans were cowboys and Indians with riding horses and shooting guns, on the other side of the ocean they were freaking still wearing fancy outfits, the Victorian era.
Yeah, with the wigs.
Yeah, the same time frame. You got cowboys and you got the freaking king with white.
So the
You got-
cowboys were like, I can't deal with you faggies wearing those fake
Yeah,
wigs.
they wanted to go out there and
We're
conquer the
out.
world.
We're gonna make our own
Yeah.
laws. Make
so
America great again.
that's why the Americans were very much like, no, this is ours now.
This
Yeah,
the
you
land
can't
is
tax
your
us.
land. This land is really my land.
But they weren't singing to the natives. I'll tell you that.
No, they were singing amongst each other.
They were like, no, your land is my land.
And it's only my land. FOF and find out. The meat, the Winnipeg.
That's my tribe.
Thank you, Mr. Falcon. Contributed 5 deers, venison, which was the main protein. The Pilgrims provided wild fowl, ducks, geese, swans, and wild turkey.
So wait, out of all that meat, the turkey is the one that's highlighted?
Which is wild because it tells me that the Pilgrims don't know how to hunt. Because if you're getting a whole deer,
Yeah, they're like, we bought 5 deers.
we brought 5
They're
deer.
like, oh, we bought a swan.
We bought appetizers.
Yeah. Have you ever been to a park and saw swans? They come right up to you.
Yeah.
Just
Like,
grab him by the neck. You just grab him like, I got it. These guys are hunting with bows and arrows. The Pilgrims are like, what's around me?
word, you can carry 3 or 4 swans
Yeah,
in one hand. These guys are bringing 5 big ass deers. The produce was they ate Indian corn, man. Corn has been in our system for
Oh,
a minute.
wow. They prepared it as porridge or bread, like avena.
Squash.
They made avena, nigga.
Cornmeal, beans, possibly nuts, and shellfish, lobster, eel. Missing items. There were no potatoes. Not yet in popular England. No cranberry sauce. Sugar was too scarce. Wow.
That came from the South.
And that's us. And no pumpkin pie. Nah, bro. No butter or wheat flour for
I don't like
crust.
pumpkin pie. I'm not a fan of pumpkin pie. You like pumpkin pie? I don't like pumpkin pie, and I'm not a fan of sweet potato pie.
Okay.
I
Okay.
like apple pie's good.
Nah.
You don't like apple pie?
No.
Apple pie.
I feel like it's a mush of some canned shit.
Really? Okay.
It's a mush of canned.
And when I eat sweet potato pie, I'm like, you're making a pie out of candied yams. You know, you ever seen a sweet potato that sometimes they put marshmallows on it?
Yes.
Okay, so I feel like you made that into pie. We already eat that over there. We already ate that. What are you doing?
Just give me the can.
Just give me the
Okay, hold on.
All
So, when it comes to pumpkin pie and what's the other one you said? Sweet potato pie?
I'm not a fan of
I feel like, but if I had to go to if you had to die on a pie, what would it be?
Die on a pie.
Die on a pie.
Oh, man.
American pie, baby. Oh.
Sheesh. I'm not. First of all, oh, you feel so much.
Mira que linda. Hold on. Let's zoom in there.
Yeah, boy.
Damn, you came proper. I just have this shit made of Velcro over here. Damn.
I'm a Native American. You're just a guy with a costume.
I'm just a guy with a costume. And I was having trouble figuring this part out. But
All right, so if I had to die on a pie.
What?
Sheesh.
Die on a pie. What are you dying on?
Okay. Oh, man. I guess I'm trying to think of what is it called. It's like a nice crust, and it's kind of like a pudding in it.
Wow. Custard?
I don't know. Custard's all right.
Yeah.
I'd rather do apple pie. I guess we'll just do apple pie because that's the easiest one.
He's dying on the original.
Apple pie, baby.
Apple pie it is. I'm going to go with cheesecake. I mean, cheese pie. What?
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm fat, bro. I don't know what to tell you.
Like, give me the food.
Wait, is cheesecake a pie? It can't. It has the word cake in it.
It's cake in it. It's cake.
But it's not cake.
Do you make the definitions? Or whoever made it makes the definition.
My mouth is
I think the person that made it was like, this is a cake. This is not a pie.
Wow.
I think a pie is more mushy.
Isn't that what cheese pie is?
No, cheese pie? Well, you could cut a cheesecake and it stays solid. If you cut a pie, they kind of mush out. They kind of
but sweet potato
I guess
does
a
it.
pie is like... Yeah, you're right. It doesn't.
I knew it.
Well, I was going to say...
His face of awakening.
I think a pie is like you have to have a crust in it. Like a pastelillo, empanada.
And cheesecake doesn't have a crust?
It doesn't have a top crust. Unless you sprinkle something on it.
But
it's not really holding it down.
Neither does sweet potato, pumpkin.
I don't know.
Someone's messing up right now. Someone's messing up Thanksgiving. All right. The atmosphere. It was secular rather than religious. The Pilgrims spent time feasting, engaging in help me out over here.
Diplomacy?
Yeah. Jesus. And play games like shooting contests and running races. It was a moment of peace and political alliance between the two groups. Historic note, the Pilgrims did not call this event Thanksgiving. To them, a Thanksgiving was a solemn day of prayer and fasting, not feasting. The term was attached to this 1621 harvest festival much later in history, largely in the 19th century.
So we didn't call it Thanksgiving for a long time. Actually,
that's crazy. So Thanksgiving traditionally was completely opposite of what
they probably didn't even celebrate it. Think about it. They probably really talked about it. They just made it up. They're like, oh yeah, we did this one time. Let's celebrate it.
Wow.
That happens in sometimes that happens in history. People just don't celebrate it. Then they go back and think about it. Like, hey, we should have been celebrating this.
Yeah, this is the thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. What was the next question on it? You already Googled it. Great.
Yeah. Oh, look right here. The English captains like Thomas Hunt had previously kidnapped Native Americans, including, I'm not going to say his name, Squanto, to sell into slavery. This created a deep distrust of European ships among the local tribes. So like I said, they kind of knew they're crazy. Be careful. The white man is crazy.
Indians.
The Indians, yeah.
Hell yeah. Bro, let's just take a second and pause that right now, right? This is what you look like. And then you meet this.
And you're like, why do you have so much clothes on? Why does he stink?
Why did he have so much clothes?
You know what's funny? The natives thought the Europeans stunk. They thought they all smelled bad.
I would imagine.
They would house their scent in their clothing.
Right, and your ass can't smell because you got nothing to...
breeze just blowing through. I'm just drying my sweat immediately. I have no problem. You're like freaking...
I'm harvesting fucking sweat over here.
You're freaking sealing in the flavor with your clothes. I'm just breathing it out. Running around, hunting freaking deer, and you'll be like...
You think my kind took off the clothes and like joined them just to see what it was
well,
like?
You wouldn't? I would go hang out with them, take off my shirt, chop some wood with them. How do you guys live? Well, first of all, they're surviving. How are you guys doing this? You guys have barely any clothes on. How are you guys doing this?
The word. What are you putting in your hat? Where are you putting it? I got mad shit in my hat, bro.
Yeah.
I'm storing stuff up here.
How are you surviving out here? I will definitely talk to the natives. Like, how do you even talk to them, right?
How do you even talk to them? You're using shit like, water.
You just freaking have water, just pouring it. And then they're like, this is water. And the other guy's like, pouring? Are you saying pouring? And then the guy's like, they call this pouring. This is called pouring. You want to drink some pouring?
Oh my God. Because you've ran into someone that speaks a different language, right? When in New York City, you constantly run into shit like that. Non-stop. And it's like...
You just yell, go back to your country. Go back to your country. That's how you solve the problem.
Problem solved. It is really fascinating to think about, trying to put yourself in that lifestyle, in that moment. It's so brave.
This is Star Trek. They show up to a planet. They don't know the language. They're trying to figure out. We don't know their culture. We don't know if they're going to attack us. If aliens came earlier and fought them, and they're like, we don't trust anybody anymore. Meanwhile, you're coming in peace.
I can't get over your eyes. Yeah. Go ahead.
It's actually the Taino makeup.
It is. Right. It's so hard to place myself in that mindset. It's so like the cojones to go out and freaking just willy-nilly like on a boat, bro.
The first month, you're actually just sleeping on the boat. You're coming out on a raft, going to the land, cutting wood down, collecting at the base, at the freaking area. At nighttime comes, all right, back to the ship. We got to sleep on the ship. Until we establish our little fort. A little fort. Okay, now shelter. We can build, now we can sleep in here.
Oh my God. It sounds really exciting, like fun to do though. I ain't gonna lie.
It does sound fun. Until people start dying. And then you're like, oh my God.
This is not fun. Where's my microwave?
Fucking William starved to death last night.
Oh, fucking William.
William died, guys. Oh my God. Every time I go hunting, I get shot with arrows. This is not fun, yeah. And then they're like, we got to figure out how to survive. And the boat's like, I'll go back to England and come back with supplies. I'll be back in a year. And you're like, a year? Because that's how long it takes, like months to go, come back.
Yeah, year.
I'll be back in a year. Survive. Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I'm not going back.
No.
I made it.
First of all, coming there is a miracle in itself. God knows how many ships got lost at sea.
Mad John's died, bro. Yeah, I'm the last John. Like, you know what I mean? I gotta reset
chill here.
this.
I see swans I could just grab. I'll just survive off that. You know?
There must have been no children that survived.
Hard. I mean, you gotta pop those kids out nonstop.
Right. Like.
Yeah, because we need freaking to reproduce.
Yeah.
Just get them out.
Those are workers. Workers.
That's it. Yeah. Kids are not valuable like they used to be. We needed them before. Now they're just
now they're expensive.
Yeah, now they're expensive. Yeah.
Wow, what a shift.
Yeah.
What a shift. Okay, what else you got?
What else we got there?
We got diplomacy and alliance.
The first face-to-face interaction was hostile. The first encounter at the beach in Massachusetts, eastern Massachusetts, was I can't even pronounce that word.
Oh, GD, baby.
Nauset tribe ambushed a pilgrim exploring party with arrows to defend their territory. The pilgrims returned fire, but no one was injured. The pilgrims fled and sailed across the bay to settle at Plymouth. Oh, I didn't know that. So they came to an area first, right?
Okay.
And they're like, all right, they sent off a little raft, the land there, check out the land, see what it's about. While they were there walking around, they started getting shot with arrows. So they shot back, they got on the raft, went back to the boat. And they were like, all right, don't go there. They're crazy. Let's go over there to that side.
While mapping it out.
Yeah, because they don't know. They're in a new place.
Yeah, put an X there. That's Texas.
Yeah, do not go there. Yeah. Dangerous. So we're going to go across the bay to that area. They went there, and that's when they really got to establish their little base in Plymouth. So they went to a different spot first. Unnamed, because it says Eastern Massachusetts. Doesn't even have a name.
Wild.
They just got there. They got shot at. They were like, all right, let's go over there instead.
We're landing in Plymouth.
Yeah, we're going to go in Plymouth. We could probably defend ourselves better in that area. And then they got it. So the Indians shot at them right away. That means the Indians knew who they were. The white man. You know what I'm saying? Get him.
Get him.
Wow. And this was in the 1620s. The Pilgrims stayed isolated. See what I'm saying? They isolated themselves in the settlement while half their population died of sickness. Jesus, they got freaking pneumonia and died, all of them.
Wow.
And then the Indians watched from a distance, but they didn't attack, largely because they were weakened by disease and feared their rivals. Oh, so they watched them.
They held back.
They were like, they're dying of sickness.
Yeah, we don't got to do anything.
Yeah, we let them die, yeah.
This is a show. Where's the popcorn?
Yeah, they're just watching. They're like, they're still there, stinking up the place. They're just dying.
You think they had sex right away?
What? I don't know. What kind of question? They just showed up. We're dying. Quick. We got no time. We get in there quick.
Oh, you're smelly. I could imagine they were like, no, I'm not just hitting that.
Well, the Pilgrims probably
I'm talking about us, you and me. Like, I'm not.
Oh, the native?
I'm smelly to you.
Oh, yeah. So I'm not going to do it actively.
You're not going to
But you're going to kidnap my people.
I'm going to take that feather.
Yeah. So that's how it happened, probably. You know? Especially if they're running out of women, they're just dying. They're like, we need more women.
We need more
We
women.
gotta capture them. That's all they have.
Oh my God, workers. Those are definitely workers.
Yeah, we need them. Yeah,
Those
they're
are
definitely they're
workers.
slaves.
Those are definitely workers. Not my kid.
An Abenaki shaman named, oh gosh, boldly walked into Plymouth settlement and greeted the pilgrims in English, which he had learned from a fisherman. He asked for beer and gave them information about the land. That's what I was saying last time. The natives were like, they never had beer before. So when they first had the alcohol, they're like, wow, this is great.
This is poison.
Makes me feel fantastic. I love it. So they got addicted to it.
Wow.
So they probably used the freaking alcohol as a freaking, like, oh, if you give us that, we'll give you
Damn, not the Molly, not the early
They're just
Molly.
hooking them up, and they're like, all right, we'll give you corn. And they probably took the corn and made it into more alcohol.
Right.
They were like, just give us more.
We got
we'll
you.
eat some, we'll make more alcohol, we'll sell it back to you.
Wow.
Wow, that's crazy.
Wow.
But the nigga came speaking English, and they were like, oh, snap. And he learned it from a fisherman. Where the fisherman came from?
Spaniards.
Plymouth Rock, probably the Spaniards.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they must have been shocked. Imagine my ass rolling up, seeing your ass.
Speaking English.
Yeah.
You know?
What?
And he's like, beer? You're like, I have beer. Yeah, what you got? Food? Give me the food.
Wow.
And gave them information about the lands. So he's like, all right, the deer's over there.
That place that you went to, my cousins be wilding.
I see y'all just eating birds the whole time. There's deer over there. If you just walk a little bit further on that,
you got that deer, but I'm pretty sure you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. So let me show you how to shoot this arrow.
And we had guns, right?
We had guns, yeah. But those guns are freaking. So you take a shot, boom, the deer runs, and you're like, hold on!
Wait!
I gotta reload! Meanwhile, the Indians like...
Yeah, like, you still loading up, bro?
Yeah.
But they must have been shocked, right? Seeing that thing?
The Indians?
Yeah.
They must have heard like, boom! They're like, what the lightning bolt? Coming from the sky? Where they're looking around in the sky and they see the smoke.
They came in on a spaceship of a ship, like a huge... Well, they probably have boats.
But not that big.
Not that big. It was like, wow, industrial size.
Yeah.
And then they rolled up with these funny-looking hats and with these mechanical sticks
Yeah.
that fired balls.
Yeah. That's probably why they looked at them like, who are these people?
And they had beer that made you feel like, oh, yeah, boy.
They have the potions.
They got the magic potion.
That's probably what they thought about when the Spaniards came. They thought they were gods. Remember, they had shiny outfits. They're like, whoa.
Right.
Because, this is...
Oh, my God. That's like an alien.
I'm telling you, bro.
It's an alien right
It's an
there.
alien.
That's an alien.
In South America, Central America, down there, they had gold, and they had silver, stuff like that they found, but nobody used it as fashion. They would give it to the shamans, because the shamans use it to freaking use for like what do they call it?
I can't get over your makeup.
Because they use it for like religious things. You know what I'm saying?
The alcohol?
No, the gold and the silver that they would find. It was just everywhere. It was on the floor. Remember, it was like in the riverbeds. You just pick it up, a piece of gold. They'll shine it up. Gold is soft metal.
Yeah.
Easy to bend.
You bend and mold it.
So they would give it to the
shiny
shaman,
clay, basically.
and the shamans would use it to make artifacts for religious reasons.
Right, for their tribe.
For the tribe. That's all they really used it for. The only people that really had the gold. So when the Europeans wanted gold, they're like, why?
Right.
It's for the shamans. We didn't even use that. That's for them. So imagine you show up with a shiny outfit. They're like, oh, he's a super shaman.
He's a scion shaman.
He's a scion shaman.
Holy moly.
So they were like, oh my God, there must be gods.
Have to be.
They have to.
I got a little gold right here,
Look
puppy.
how religious they are. They have gold covering their bodies.
They are the religion.
In fact, that guy has a gold tooth. How did he get it in there?
That reminds me of Bloodsport.
Yeah. So when they showed up, they probably thought, wow, these are magical beings.
Yeah.
So we got to help them out. Until they started killing them with disease and raping them. They were like, oh, okay, they're bad. They're the evil ones.
These are not good guys.
Yeah.
We'll take the alcohol, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Leave that. You go.
So then the Massachusetts Treaty, Samoset returned with Squanto, the last survivor of the pack set, and Masotet, the great shaman of the Winnipeg. So I guess they signed a treaty of some kind?
Yeah, the
peace
declaration of... that was the deterioration. Damn, I'm done today, bro.
Yeah.
it's gonna definitely be you. You're talking about when they made a treaty.
Hold on. Diplomacy, winter, the treaty.
A peace treaty, Governor John. Oh, look, that's me.
Governor John Carver.
And
And Massachusetts signed a mutually defensive treaty. Neither group would harm each other. If one of them attacked the other, they were okay. Stolen tools or goods would be returned. Okay, so they had beef. And they were like, yo, let's make a deal.
Hold on.
Because I see that you guys are fighting other tribes.
Yeah.
If they attack you, we'll help you.
Right. That's how you get them.
If they attack me, you
Your
help
enemy of an enemy.
We live next to each other. We might as well have peace.
Damn.
And then they had peace. And
then we'll have sex.
Yeah. And then after our numbers grow, then we'll take you over and them. So let's do it.
You saying that with that makeup is like offensive. Yeah. Sorry for all the woke people here. I know you're not going to enjoy your Thanksgiving after this episode. For
about 40 years, it looks like they had cooperation.
From 1921 to 1960?
60, yeah.
Yeah.
Squanto stayed with the Pilgrims, acting like as an interpreter. Oh, there's the guy that got kidnapped and brought to England. He came back. Because now he knows English. And he knows their language.
Oh, this guy was...
So it's like, oh, we need this guy.
That's why it's good. If you speak multiple languages, you're going to get hired.
Yeah, there you go.
He got hired.
That's proof there.
He taught them how to plant corn using fish as fertilizer, catch eel, and navigate the local geography, essentially saving the colony from starvation.
Yeah, he's the real hero of Thanksgiving.
What's his name? Squanto. Shout out. You know what? I'm thankful for Mr. Squanto.
Shout out to Squanto. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Make sure you mention him when you're eating that turkey.
If it wasn't you... There'll be no freaking 1776.
There would be no
There'll be no Donald Trump or Mondani.
There'll
be none of that if it wasn't for Squanto. So.
In the fall, since they did the first Thanksgiving to celebrate the successful harvest. So in 1621, to celebrate the successful harvest, the Pilgrim held the feast. Masakote, in 90 Winnipeg Wampang
men
joined them. 90 of them joined them, contributing to 5 deer right in the 5 years. Okay.
Oh, so this is what they're like. All right.
It will make
because we signed this peace treaty in the same year.
Right.
All right. So let's now we got peace.
Let's celebrate.
Let's break some bread together and let's make this official. And they kept that peace for 40 years.
I would imagine that they wanted to mess with each other just because of the difference in the culture, the lifestyle. Like, I'm already used to people looking like me. You know what I mean? I'll talk about you guys later on, but I really want to talk to you. And like, what are you doing? Why are you wearing feathers? Like, what does that mean? What's the whole point of your feathers, bro? And the same thing for the Indians was like, why the long hat? What do you guys got in there? Like, there's no way they couldn't become family. They were stuck together.
Yeah.
That's
you have to, yeah. Just like you made friends with people that work that you never hang out with them.
I'm not going back home, and your ass lives here.
Yeah, we're stuck here.
So
we might as well.
Exactly.
All right. For decades, the relationship remained relatively stable. The Wampag traded furs, beaver, for English manufactured goods, knives, kettles, guns, and axes. So they're like, we don't have metalworking
apparatus,
but I could kill some beavers, skin them. I'll give it to you. You guys love coats.
My hat
and your furry hats. So we're gonna give you that, and you give us, a knife, a sword, a freaking
trade.
Yeah, and then you can help us out because we don't, it makes our lives a little much easier.
Yeah,
to have a knife instead of freaking carving wood, or whatever stones.
Wow.
Yeah. Land sales. As more settlers arrived, they began purchasing land from the Native Americans. While initially voluntary, these transactions often involve misunderstandings about property ownership. Europeans believed in permanent ownership. Natives believed in shared usage rights.
That's where it got funny. It got squirrely. We're gonna use squirrely.
Yeah. So the natives are like, yeah, sure, you can.
Yeah, we'll share it. Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah,
no, you're not coming.
I'm building a wall.
This is
building a wall. All right.
Oh my gosh.
The deterioration of relations from the 1660s to the 70s. So after the 40 years of peace,
10 years of hell.
10 years of hell
ensued.
All right. The death of Massasoit. I can't even pronounce this word. The death of the Grand Shaman Mark. I'm just going to say Shaman. Ended the era of close relationship. He was succeeded by his son, Wamasat, Alexander. Oh, Alexander's son. Also, that's Worf is the original one. His son is Alexander. We all know Alexander wasn't as good as Worf.
Right.
So we already know where this is going. Okay? We saw the prequel.
If you know, you know. Shout out to my Star Trek fans.
The death of Wamasat. Wamasat died suddenly after being summoned to Plymouth by colonial authorities for questioning. His brother, Metacom, King Philip, suspected the English had poisoned him. So he went, he died.
Over there, he died.
The brother was like, they killed him.
They killed him.
He's a conspiracy
There's no
theorist.
peace.
He's a conspiracy theorist. There's no way.
Mike,
no, they killed him. They killed him. There's no way you could have just died. People just don't die randomly.
Right, but that doesn't happen.
That never happens.
Right, we have
Nobody
trees.
catches disease. Yeah. Okay, he just died. All right. Cultural encroachment. Tensions rose as the colony expanded. Settlers let livestock destroy native cornfields. Oh, bendito.
They destroyed the main trade purpose.
The missionaries, like John Eliot, established praying towns to convert Native Americans to Christianity.
That's what it's
undermining tribal authority and culture. So Christianity came in and they were like, we're going to save you. You guys are going to hell. You guys have been going to hell for a long time.
Same way.
It's time.
Same way Islam is getting in here.
So the natives were like, my children don't know our faith because you converted them.
Yeah.
They don't know how to make patelas anymore because now they're Americans.
That part. I was about to say patelas. You got patelas this year?
I do. My wife is learning how to make it right now. She's actually making it pretty good.
Is she selling? Anybody selling?
I don't know yet. She has a bunch already. But right now, she told my mother, she just started making them.
I just need one.
She started making them, and then she called my mother-in-law. She's done her picture, and my mother-in-law texted her right away. Where are you? Who are you? Who you with? What's going on? What's going on? Why are you doing that? So she came over. All right.
Okay.
All right.
The war and the collapse between 1675 and next year.
1676, which is 100 years before
the
Revolutionary War.
Ooh.
All right. The outbreak of King Philip's War. So his brother's name is King Philip, which is interesting because now he's taking on some American names. The first guy was just a native name. The second brother had a native name, but is also called Alexander.
Yeah.
The third guy's like, I'm King Philip. I'm completely gentrified.
Yeah.
I'm third generation. All right, so they don't know the language anymore. All right. After the English executed 3 Winnipeg men for the murder of a Christian convert, John Sassamon, Metacom launched a war to drive the settlers out. Okay, so that's it. They killed, I guess, a Christian guy, and they're like, this is the beginning of a war.
Now it's on.
We had peace for a long time.
We were good killing you.
And now you guys are building a wall.
That's it.
Now we got beef. And you killed my brother.
And
meanwhile, they're like, he had AIDS, bro. I don't know what to tell you.
And he smelled a lot.
And yeah, he was wearing clothes. We told not to.
Take it off.
The conflict. They came to the deadliest war in American history per capita.
Wow. Native Alliances attacked 52 of the 90 New England towns, completely destroying 12 of them.
All right, hold on.
What?
Per capita. So if there was 90 and they killed 52, that's more than half.
Yeah.
So that's like killing more than half of the United States.
It's like 70%.
Yeah. So imagine 70%. What we got? Let's say we have 350,000 million people on this
Earth
country.
Yeah, country.
Right? So that's like killing like 200 of them, 250 of them.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So to them, they're like, they almost killed everybody. They almost wiped this out completely.
Yeah, we're almost
dying.
Done. Now we're at their mercy at this point.
In August of 1676, the death of Metacom, the war ended when Metacom was killed by a Native American scout allied with the English. A traitor.
What? Say that part again.
A traitor in the midst, bro.
Where's that at? The conflict?
Right here. Read this right here. Read it. Go ahead. You read it.
In August of 1676, the death of Metacom, the war ended when Metacom was killed by a Native American scout allied with the English. Wow, they got him from within.
His head was displayed on a pike. For 20 years.
What the?
That's crazy. It was just a skeleton, nigga. Just a freaking skull.
With his head.
Just on the freaking... That was part of the furniture they had. That was 20 years there. It was just, you walking, oh, that's his head.
Remember that guy?
Yeah. Just to show everybody else on the other side of the wall, like, don't come this way.
What do you think he gave that trader that got him to, like... switch sides, right?
Yeah.
A lot of alcohol.
Probably a kettle.
A kettle.
A knife. Metal knife.
Nah, a freaking...
Yeah.
Load up.
I'll give you a gun if you get this.
That's how it had to happen, bro.
Winnipeg and their allies were decimated. Many survivors were executed and sold into slavery in the West Indies. Effectively under independent Native American power in the southern New England.
That's us right here.
Yeah. So that's how they got demolished. So that means, think about it. Within 100 years, they were done. They showed up. They signed a peace treaty. We're cool.
100 years is a long time.
And it's... Wait, when did they write? 15? Did they say it? I don't know. The conflict.
1614.
1614 they got there. And when did this? 1670? That's like
1675. So less than
like 50 years. It's like crazy. It's about 50 years. All right.
Okay.
All right. The summary of the Cree figures. Blah blah blah. Anyway, that's the end of that.
That's the end of that.
Yeah.
What was the question? Would you like to know more about specific foods like they like to eat, or how likely, or how the holiday evolved into the modern tradition? How did it evolve? Well, we know that it wasn't even called that.
I want to see what happens.
What happens?
No, hold on. Just don't touch anything. Hold on.
I'm not touching. I'm gonna touch.
I typed it over here. I want to see if it pops up over there.
Will it do that?
That's what I want to find out.
Come on, AI, do it.
Do it,
AI. Or is it like, listen, I'm divided right now. You got me in two different places, daddy. Okay.
Yeah, but if you look up the history of, let's see if it comes up. Let's see. I think I'm going to have to reload it.
Nope.
Nope. Oh, it's still going. Oh, my bad. It's still going. All right. So if you look at the history of the South America, the Caribbean, and all that, the thing, it's very similar.
The same thing.
They came in.
Same thing.
It's peace. We're chilling. Take them over. Christianity. Dead.
Copy paste.
Step by step. And they've been doing it over and over again. Every time you see the white man come, this is what they do.
So it was intentional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was intentional.
What happened to the first Thanksgiving? The first Thanksgiving marked the high point of the relationship between the Pilgrims and the Winnipeg. The follow was a slow tragic decline in war. The erosion of the alliance, we already read that. Praying towns, we already know about that. New leadership. After Maxwell died, his son, we already read that. King Philip's War, we already read that.
I would think it was in the bottom.
Look at number 3.
Number 3? The Great
Dispersion.
Oof.
When Metacan was killed, the native resistance collapsed. The punishment inflicted by the colonists was severe. Slavery, we know about that. Servitude. Executions, we know about that. Survival and the erasure between the 18th and 19th centuries. They were not wiped out, but they were marginalized and made invisible. The survivors, 2 main groups, managed to remain on the ancestral lands because they had remained neutral or converted to Christianity. The Mashpee and the Cape Cod and the Aguanesha on Martha's Vineyard. State guardship. The colony and later the state of Massachusetts.
Mad history over there.
Yeah. Appointed while the overseers to manage Winnipeg land and finances. This overseers had abused the system, selling off native land and selling and stealing resources, driving the tribes into poverty. By the mid 1800s, the Winnipeg language, Wapanak, fell silent as assimilation forced them into speaking English. Oof, that's it. They don't speak their language anymore.
That's wild.
All right, so then modern times to present. Despite centuries of being told that their land had vanished, the Winnipeg people persisted. Federal recognition today, and the 2 federally recognized tribes, the Mashpee Winnipeg tribe, re-recognized in the 2007, which is not that long ago.
That was
and the Winnipeg tribe of gayhead. Oh, that's interesting.
That was interesting.
I think that's the white people. They're like, we're gonna name it something. Don't worry about it. We got you.
You're gonna like it.
You're gonna love this new name we're gonna give you guys. Those two guys blowing is a gay head.
Hey.
All right.
It means happy. Don't worry.
The language reclamation in 1993 of the Winnipeg launched a project to revive their language using old deeds, Bibles, and letters written in Winnipeg. They have brought the language back. It is now spoken by children in the tribe for the first time in over 150 years. Wow. So even after all that, they were still able to reclaim some of the language.
Some of it.
So there is
that's wild. Losing your language and then having to relearn it.
So they did that in Israel.
Yeah.
Right? They did that. They lost the language and then they brought it back. And that was Yiddish, they call it. And even now, if you go on TikTok, you'll see people that are going back and looking at the old Taino writings and language, and they're starting to learn some of the words. And they're bringing it back.
That's wild.
Yeah.
How?
And it's current. It's like actively how you can watch it happen. They're learning new stuff all the time.
But how? Like, how do you know the dialect and the syntax?
I don't think they actually know it.
No, they're just making
kind
that
of
up.
Guessing. Okay, this is what they. So if they say one word this way and this word spelled similarly, they're like, okay, I gotta sound similar. So this must be this, And then they, I guess they, little by little, you get enough pieces, you can kind of fill in the gaps,
Would you like to provide more details of the praying towns or modern efforts to reclaim the language? No. So Thanksgiving, what we know of it today is just, it's a day that we come together and we're thankful.
Yeah. You know what? Watch this episode and bring it up to your family. Especially if they're like a Trump supporter or something, they're gonna love this information. This is good stuff for them.
Tell them about John.
Tell them about John, how they took over the land, and da-da-da.
A lot of people don't celebrate it or have this disdain towards it, but when we think about it, it's an American holiday. It's a tradition.
It's strictly an American holiday.
It's strictly right. It's not celebrated. You're not going to.
Maybe Canada might be like, oh, we're kind of there.
We got a few birds.
Yeah, we got geese.
Yeah, they come up from your land. Yeah. I mean, and then there's the people that don't celebrate it because they're like, this was you're celebrating the death of the Winnipeg
Indians.
The Winnipeg Indians.
Squanto.
How do you think they feel about it?
Indians, they probably hate it.
Because
to them, they're like, this is the beginning of the end.
This was a remembrance of the end.
This is when we decided, okay, we're gonna help you. If we would have let you die without doing this, this would have been our land completely. Which, I mean, personally, I don't think it's true. Eventually, more people would have showed up and would have took over.
Right, or you think they would have went over? Imagine they went to the other side. It was them showing up on boats with arrows.
Yeah,
they would have got murked, right? Because the guns.
Yeah, they would have got sick and died right away.
Oh yeah,
they would have caught something immediately. They would have caught something.
So the Pilgrims, they brought the disease. There wasn't any disease native to the Native American Indians that the Pilgrims got sick of.
I'm sure there was, but not like the way remember the
because we were puercos.
Well, the Indians were like, kind of open. If you took a crap in a hole or whatever, even if you took a crap right there, you're not around it all the time. You're moving, going from place to place.
Right.
The next time you come back, that crap is in the ground.
Yeah, recycled.
Done. Yeah. Meanwhile, the Europeans were like shitting in buckets and throwing it out the window. And then now you're walking in the street, you're stepping on it. Then you walk in your house, you step on the floor. The baby's touching the floor. Touching the floor, licking things. You know what I'm saying? You drop your knife for a second, you pick it up, and like, oh man, I've dropped it. Meanwhile, you got freaking crap on it from the street.
Right, so the Indians were closer to the land, which kept them more... I don't know what the word is.
And just like the Pilgrims with their clothes kind of holding in that stench.
Yeah, that stench.
They did that with their houses and their freaking
their
lands,
neighborhoods and their time.
They would throw, just like, I mean, if you ever, I don't know, if you watch the Indians in India, the way they do it, they throw their garbage in the water, and then downstream, people are drinking it and taking a bath in it.
Yeah, cooking with it.
And that's the same way it was in Europe back then. They threw the crap into the freaking river, and then down the river, they're collecting buckets of water to freaking cook.
And it's crazy that they thought of you, the Indians, like, oh, look at these savages.
Yeah, they thought they're savages.
Oh my gosh. Meanwhile, like, the Indians were like, you guys are bugging right now.
Yeah, we're chilling.
chilling.
Yeah.
You guys are throwing crap where you sleep.
Yeah.
Go take a crap over there next to the tree. The tree wants it. Wild. Do you think that Native Americans, Indians celebrate Thanksgiving?
No.
He said, nah. I want to go with no. So they don't eat turkey that day. They probably eat Venice.
You know what? Yeah.
Right?
But if they even sell it, if they even celebrate it.
Right.
I'm trying to find out.
They probably hate turkey, bro.
Oh, there's it right here. This picture right here. This is... When they got here, this is what they saw. When they got to America. They were like, oh, nice. We made it. Oh, we got the same makeup on. I just realized.
Yeah, you do. You matching.
Yeah.
First of all, they did not look like that.
Maybe. We don't know.
With that haircut and the bangs. Stop it.
Yeah, why not?
And those teeth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our teeth are bad because we eat sugar. They never eat no sugar.
I don't know, bro.
They have bones of people that died back then that their teeth are perfect.
This is rubbing off like a Epstein file episode. With that image.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think they looked like that.
Bro, yeah, they did. They have...
Look up what a pilgrim looked like.
You don't want to see that. If you think we have bad hygiene today...
Let's see. Let's compare the two. The audience wants to see, right, guys? Say yes. We hear you. We hear you with our stupid headphones on.
But it's going to give us, like, costumes. Like, not real, like...
not real ones.
Yeah.
Look at the black guy. There you go. There you go.
This
go
one?
down to the left. Look at those two people.
If this is real. This is
Oh, no. The one next to it looks real.
This one?
Closer to it.
I mean, they didn't have cameras
not
back then,
even.
bro.
Definitely not.
There's no way.
There's no way.
Yeah.
And
We
they're
could-
gonna
you know how we
paint
know?
them. They're gonna paint them in the best light, right?
We
All
know
clean.
by their bones. So when they die, they look up their grave and they're like, all right,
Mad
they had
deteriorate.
bad teeth.
Oh man.
Yeah. But think about what English people look like. Look.
Hold on.
English
Settlers.
people teeth.
People teeth. Oh Lord.
Why do their teeth look like that?
Yeah,
Remember
baby.
Austin Powers? Remember Austin Powers?
Yeah, baby.
Why do they look like that? You know why?
Why?
Because they drink tea and sugar.
Yeah.
They eat garbage. The Indians didn't eat anything. It was all natural, 100% natural.
Wow.
So they had, what gives you cavities? Sugar.
Yep.
So they never ate sugar. They never got cavities. So when they dig up the bones
Jesus
of the Native
Christ.
Americans, their teeth are like perfect. They're like, how do they get their teeth so perfect? And it's because they didn't eat that garbage. You know? Meanwhile, the English were eating and didn't even brush their teeth. You know? So they ate all that garbage and they didn't even brush their teeth. The natives had no reason to brush their teeth. You know?
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah.
Mexicans.
Basically, yeah. They traveled. Remember, if you look at the map of the United States, they came from the east, the Europeans, and they basically forced the natives towards the west. And then they went down into Mexico. So they concentrated at the top of Mexico.
But it's like you said, we would have eventually clashed and come together. And it's still happening, you know what I mean? Where cultures are just mingling and tingling.
Yeah, back in the day, up the block, 2 blocks up from my house, right next to Sunset Park, there was a Native American, what do they call it? A Native American, it was like an association. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It wasn't called a tribe. They called it something else. A Native American something. And then somehow me and Eric saw them with their costumes, and we talked to them. And they were like, oh yeah, we have a Native American alliance over here. Da-da-da. Literally 2 blocks up from my house. And they brought us 2 grown men. We're kids. We're 16, 17 years old. And they were like, come to my basement. And we're like, yeah.
That's why you turned out that way.
And then we went to their basement, and their basement was decorated with Indian Native American
Yeah,
stuff.
bones.
And then they were like, where are you guys from? And we're like, oh, I'm Puerto Rican. They're like, oh, well, you guys had natives on your land. We're like, word?
You over here on this wall
Yeah.
right there.
And they taught us about the Taínos. They taught us a lot about that. They taught us, like, even how the drums that they used. They taught us everything. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And then they had, like, events upstate where they would meet other tribes. And one time we went with them upstate to see what it was like. The freaking tribals. Everybody, oh, they all just like that. And then they were telling us, oh, yeah, you guys are natives too, yeah.
Well,
And this is before...
they look like that, then I can see why. I can see why the Pilgrims decided to...
I'm staying too. You got one over there? I'm out.
All right. So I guess the common question is, what are you guys thankful for this year?
Yeah.
Just
Well-
got that check from Hogel.
I know. We'll see if it comes, right?
I got mine.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I gotta check. Where'd you get it from?
The mail?
I gotta check my mail.
Yeah, you gotta check your mail. I thought it was a bill.
Question.
Okay.
Okay, before we go, this is
Let's do
everybody
it.
question.
Let's
I want you guys to answer this question down below. I might even put it in the freaking.
I'm gonna catch some fucking geese right
I might
now.
even put the question somewhere online, whether it be
Whatever you.
X or YouTube. I could ask on TikTok. I don't know if you can ask on TikTok. I'll try.
Rumble?
But the question is,
Okay.
what food does not belong in Thanksgiving? Okay, I got an answer. One time I saw somebody said, "Oh, we have that." I'm like, "What? Who eats that on Thanksgiving?" And it was mashed potatoes. I thought that was a weird thing to have on Thanksgiving.
Why?
You ever had mashed potato on Thanksgiving? I've never in my life heard of mashed potatoes on Thanksgiving. When they said they had mashed potatoes, I was like, that's weird. You have sweet potato. That makes sense. Mashed potatoes doesn't make sense. That's like a regular food.
I want to say raisins.
Just a bucket of raisins?
Just don't put it in anything.
Nothing, yeah.
Stop with the raisins.
White people.
That's not what I mean.
All right, so what food does not belong in
What
Thanksgiving?
food does not belong?
That's your homework.
Homework, not us.
Homework.
We'll be in detention, you heard?
Yeah.
We out.
That's
Happy
it, we out.
Thanksgiving,
Happy
people.
Thanksgiving.
Peace.
That was fun.
That was.
I'm freezing right now.
You want a hug?
I gotta take this off.